Hello, everyone. Hey, wherever you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you for tuning into Locker Talk, where you hear about NFL starts tomorrow. Today, I'm your host, Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of Locker-Report.com. And you guys, please go to the site, check the site out where you can see some great exclusive content on the NFL that you will not see anywhere else, I guarantee it. Follow me on all my social handles on Twitter at Locker_Report. On Instagram, Lock Report 100, all small caps. On Facebook, LockReport.com, and also check out the Locker Talk podcast is on Facebook. And of course, guys, you should know by now. Come on, man. I should not have to keep telling you guys this.
Do it.
Exactly. Just do it. Just do it. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, the Locker Talk podcast, where you guys can have all these great alerts and see this fantastic sports show about the NFL, about information that you will not see anywhere else. I guarantee it. Folks, you see where I'm at, the backdrop, where the HBCU Combine had took place at South Alabama University, home of the Jaguars. I tell you, South Alabama, their facilities, their training center is fantastic, top of the notch, one of the best in the country. I swear to goodness that this school is on the rise. Program have not been around very long, but they had several players that came through to get through to the Senior Bowl and on to NFL success. So this school, definitely want to give a shout out to South Alabama University. Y'all got some great hosts, great facilities, top notch all the way. Now, as we know that the NFL had their first HBCU Combine, which had took place here at this very school, at this very site, at this training center for the Jaguars Training Center. Very fantastic, really good ground. Everything went very well as far as with the facility. Now, let's get to the nuts and bolts of what happened. HBCU players from around the country, 39 players did show up. Not everyone took part on all the drills, and some players had to get back from nursing from injuries and also preparing for their pro days, which is going to happen later on in the year, right before the NFL draft. But we're going to talk about some players that stood out, ones that made their situation a little better. And the best thing is when having these type of combines, these workouts, it really helped us to really judge and really put forth to see who are the players out of the crop of players coming from the HBCU level, knowing that it is a lower division of football compared to the major schools. So we want to make sure that we look through the lily of the valley to see which players had the potential to first be able to get in front of NFL scouts. We had a group of them here that proved worthy to be in front of NFL scouts, and some of them, very few, showed that they can get in front of scouts again to show their worth in hopes of being a part of the NFL family for the 2022 season. And here we go, we'll jump right into it. Now, right off the bat, I can honestly say that the defensive backs owned the day, especially on the defense side of the ball. The defensive backs came out to play. And we definitely want to talk about some as they dominated. Like Dejuan Taylor from Alcorn State. He showed a lot of explosiveness, especially through his broad jump. Broke well onto the ball when it was time for the catch with the passing drills. He did really good. And then we had Dela, Rosa from Fayetteville State. He had good feet, showed good speed, decent hands through his workout, really showed out and showcased and made his opportunities a little better. But I would have to go and say that the three defensive backs that really showed out is Zafar Kelly from South Carolina State. Really did a great job in putting his full effort in front of the scouts. Really showed out the class of the defensive backs. He was one of them. And then we're going to look at two other players. Will Adams from Virginia State and Joshua Flowers from Winston-Salem. Now, Adams was just smooth throughout his whole workout. I mean, he was very impressive. His broad jump just lit up the entire room. He showed a lot of explosiveness, showed a lot of the velocity in his runs, was very fluent in his hips. He did everything he was supposed to do. Really showed a lot of burst, especially during his L drills. This young man really showed what he was able to do. Did not have not a lot of stuff coming into this workout, but he did himself a great service. I just think he just need to keep his bags packed. He's going to have some invites to some programs from some teams that want to see him a little closer. He really did a great service for himself. Josh Flowers from Winston-Salem State. Listen, this young man is a pure baller. This guy was born to play football. He showed that in his workouts. I would say he showed out of the defensive backs probably the better of the hand. I would say that Adams was a little bit more explosive. But both of these players, Flowers really showed out, did everything. He came here and accomplished what he wanted to accomplish several teams had talked to him, and as well some other players, but several teams did talk to him. I think he really improved his stock going into the 2022 season. These young men definitely showed out. As the class of the HBCU Combine, the defensive backs really put in a lot of work in this workout. Now when we talk about the defensive line, good players showed up front. I would like to call them the defensive fronts. But the ones that really stood out, one of the things was that Chris Myers from Norfolk State and Keyshawn James from Fairfield State. I would say both of these players, they had to calm down. They were really excited, especially James. James was just laughing the whole time. But when these two players settled down, that's when they started to really get into their workout. That's when they started to rely on their abilities to really showcase and show forth. They both showed great balance, great speed, aggressiveness. They really start to really turn everything up, especially towards the end of the workout, which really has showed off a whole lot. And then the one and only who showed out from beginning to the end was Jerry Garner from Mississippi Valley State. I mean, he took no prisoners. He just came out from the beginning to the end, just went off, did not stop. This young man, he really should lift his stock at this HBCU Combine. And definitely want to give a shout out to Chuck Smith, former defensive end for Atlanta Falcons. He was here working with the defensive front, really brought a lot of fire, a lot of passion to these workouts. These young men, I tell you, I have to give credit. The league did a great job in getting the best player, getting the best trainers to come out and work with these young men. These young men probably do not have an idea of the company that was with them that was trying to get the best out of them. They had NFL legends like Hall of Famer Anita Williams. He was here providing insight. He had Dominic Rose Camadi. He was here giving insight. Then you had Donald Driver. He was here, the legendary wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. He was here giving insight, talking to the players. They was here pretty much from almost from the beginning to the end. There was always an NFL legend, whether if they all stayed or some went, but for the most part, NFL legends was here in support, especially those that came through the HBCU platform. Now, get right to it. Now, when we look at the offense, now the offense line the ball, now the offense side of the ball, the offensive linemen for the HBCU platform actually dominate by position in the NFL. There are more offensive linemen than any other position for the HBCU platform that's in the NFL. And I believe that at least two other players may have put their name in the hat to look out for the 2022 season. Talking about Demar Savage from Bethune-Cookman and also Keon Forbes from Florida A&M. These guys showed a lot of balance, a lot of control, and also they was very active with their hands, recovered very well, had a lot of spacing, moved with their hips, very fluent the whole time. These two young men definitely had lifted that stock after this great combine. Now, when we talk about the wide receivers always exciting. As you can see, you go to the Twitter page that I did put some toe drag swag. You know, Nate Burleson, he actually, started that whole thing when he was with NFL Network. That's the guy. But had some toe drag swag. Check it out that I put on Twitter. But when we look at wide receivers, a lot of them had showed some promise. I would say show some flashes, so to speak. Like I would say Will Vernon from South Carolina State. I would say out of all the running backs, all the wide receivers, he looked like he was the fastest. He was a little bit more, I would say, effortless in a lot of his movements and better in his routes. He really showed out what he was able to do while he was on the field. And then you had Jonathan Giles from Texas Southern. Showed good ability to run routes. I love the way how he was able to dig into his route, dip, and then pop right out. Did not lose his speed. He did a great job with doing that. Really smooth in all his transitions. Showed some good hands. And then you had Trey Gross from Delaware State. His teammate, Kawana McCoy from Delaware State. Showed a lot of flashes. Josh Wilkes from Arkansas Pine Bluff. He showed some good flashes. But as far as the wide receivers, I would say that Marquez McLean from Southern, he was the most consistent. Now, let me say something about McLean. He wasn't the only one, but he was the one that was more active in staying loose. When you're in an environment like this and it was a little chill outside, when you come into these combines, you don't want to just stay stagnant, being in one spot. This young man moved around the whole time. He did not stop. When his number was called, he was definitely making sure that he watched out for his number, knew what order that he was going to be while he was running around, staying loose, stretching, doing everything he needed to do. And it showed because out of his workouts, he was very, very fluent. He definitely was one of the better workouts that we had here at the HBCU Combine this week. He really showed good hands, showed good discipline, ran his routes very, very well. Caught hand catches, rarely let the ball touch his body. He definitely was the most consistent, the most fluent wide receiver that we had here at the workout. And I really believe that he definitely need to keep his bags packed. I think some teams definitely gonna look at him a little closer. He definitely did himself a great service at this workout. And then we get to the running backs now. When we talk about the running backs, because Jermaine Martin from North Carolina A&T, he didn't run. And then Jeff Proctor from Texas Southern, he did not run. And also Ezra Gray, he did not run. But Ezra Gray still showed a lot of explosiveness. He did show some good feet, good hands, a lot of discipline. Definitely showed they had good twitch and good start and go. Really showed that. But because of that, I really think that it opened the door for Kingston Davis from Miles College. It really opened the door for him to really showcase what he was able to do, what he was able to bring. More scouts. A lot of people was not really familiar with him, known as Miles College, a little smaller from the HBCU schools, but he put on a great workout while he was here, showed a lot of discipline, showed a lot of power, a lot of burst, especially going to his 40, doing all the drills that he had as well, and also showed decent hands. Definitely had a great support knowing that mom and dad was here to root his son on, so that was really good. Good, strong family of faith. I think that Davis really, because of the running backs not doing everything there is, something I think is going to be set up well for him. I still believe that Jermaine Martin still is in good shape to be able to make a roster during this 2022 season. But because of that, I think Davis really had benefited from that. And then we look at quarterbacks. Some decent balls that was thrown from the collective group of quarterbacks here. Not as consistent, but if I had to put my name on one of those the quarterbacks that actually helped themselves out after this workout, definitely is Dejuan Paz from Prairie View A&M. Out of the quarterbacks, I would say his balls came out with more velocity, came out with more power. He actually forced the pass catchers to adjust to his ball more on a consistent level. He only had about 2 passes that was flat, but for the most part, he was more consistent with his passes. Not the fastest, by any means, not the fastest. That will go to Felix Harper. Felix Harper is more of an athlete. He had some good balls that was thrown as well. And then also from Carter for Norfolk State. Norfolk State definitely was represented very well from Felix Harper. But I think as far as the throw of the ball, I think Paz will get the pass of the better quarterback of delivering the ball at this workout. Folks, that was the breakdown of the HBCU Combine. Make sure you guys go to lockerdashboard.com and see the write-up that I will have talking about some more players that I did not talk about on this podcast. However, the Combine did its job. There were some players here that actually spiked some interest of some NFL scouts, but it is something that we're going to monitor. I just gave some names to watch out for. Make sure you guys stay locked in to Locker Talk. My name is Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of LockerDashboard.com. Go to the site where you see some exclusive content on NFL that you will not see anywhere else. Check out all my social handles on Twitter at Locker_report, on Instagram, LockReport100, all smart caps on Facebook, LockReport.com, and also check out the Locker Talk that's on Facebook. And you guys, what do I gotta do? Just tell them.
Just do it!
Exactly. Go ahead, guys. Subscribe to the site. I shouldn't have to keep telling you guys this. You're going to see some great stuff and content. Make sure you guys watch your notifications. And make sure you guys stay locked on the show. Look, I'm giving you the best thing out there in the NFL that you won't see anywhere else. I guarantee it. Everyone stay blessed. Make sure you keep on pushing forth for the HBCU platform. These guys are getting it slowly. You got to stick with it, though. We just can't stop. Just because we had one workout, we got to put the pressure not only on the league, but the schools. The schools got to do your part. Invest in these players. You better invest in these players before you lose them. Invest in these players so this thing can go even bigger. Everyone stay blessed. Talk to y'all soon. Goodbye.